Welcome to another episode of GSBCare Interactive. My name is Africa Allah of DR Radiocast, and today I have the professionals from GSB Care GSP Care Home Care Providers out of Atlanta, Georgia. And today we're going to talk about fitness over 50. First, I want to introduce Mr. Jim Christian and his assistant Stacy. Jim, welcome. And once again, tell us a little bit about GSP. Tell us a little bit about GSP Care.
GSB Care is a private health care provider serving Metro Atlanta for years, and we are just excited about being able to talk about the healthy lifestyle for people over 50.
Okay. Stacy? Welcome, Stacy. Welcome back. So, Stacy, again, give us a little bit of detail about your role in GSB Care.
My primary role focuses on the social media aspect. It's my get out information to the public regarding GSB Care and any information regarding articles, videos, anything relating to adult home care, exercise, a healthy lifestyle, anything of that nature. So it's my job to make sure that that information flows through social media.
And we're going to float it all the way through social media today. Today we are talking about fitness over the age of 50. Now, a lot of people say 50. I mean, Wendy Williams just turned 50. Is she a senior? Okay.
Definitely not.
But we all know that as we get older, it's kind of challenging to get out and get active because you get caught up in the daily lifestyle, the daily hustle and bustle of either going to a job, sitting down, and you're not as active. So today we're going to talk about some of the things that you can do as a person in your 50s and over to kind of really get back into the habit of moving around and, you know, prolonging your life outside of going to the doctor. There are things that you can do as preventive measures to kind of stay healthy. So, Jim, I want to ask you, you know, not to pick on you or anything, but what are some of the things that you do to stay lean and trim?
He's the perfect person to start this conversation. Mr. Himself.
I fall in a category of 50 plus, and I have been an active person for probably about 10 years or more now, realizing that I was approaching that age. So I developed this healthy lifestyle in terms of the way I changed my eating habits and the exercise that I incorporated into my daily life. So that has really been beneficial to me. And then, of course, the most, the most potent aspect of my lifestyle change was going to the doctor on a yearly basis, having my earlobes, and just having that great conversation with my doctor and doing those things that are necessary. You reach a certain plateau in your life, you know, when you're piling on those different decades. Well, there are certain things that the doctors say you need to do. And so, example for myself, you know, at the age of 50, I had my first colonoscopy. And so those are the things that men should do, from a preventative standpoint. So I incorporated all of those things into my style, and it's really made a difference.
Now, what is a colonoscopy? I don't even know how to pronounce it. What is that?
Colonoscopy. Well, a colonoscopy is a more in-depth prostate exam for men, and also it gives the medical community an opportunity to see those cancerous, if they're cancerous type of polyps or anything that might be growing that they might be able to identify very early, and from a preventative standpoint, remove. And it allows you to continue to live a healthy lifestyle.
Now,
It's not
when living a
invasive. It's
healthy,
not invasive. It's yeah. Go ahead.
it's not as invasive because you were saying I want you to say these things because the men that are watching, they're interested. So it's not as invasive as.
Well, it's not as invasive as when you go into the doctor's office on a yearly basis when your prostate is checked. But however, you are under anesthesia, and you do go in as an outpatient, and you have to prep for the colonoscopy, 24 hours in advance in order to make sure that your system has been cleaned so that the doctors can see what they need to see when they put the scope, into your intestines. So it's a good procedure, and I've been very happy with my results, which have been negative.
Ah, okay. Now you said one thing about changing your eating habits before, well, 10 years ago, when you made this conscious decision to change your lifestyle. What were some of the bad habits that you had? Because everybody talks about all of the good habits and all of the changes, but what were some of the bad habits you had? Were you a
Well,
fried chicken guy?
I was into this American lifestyle, which was processed foods, not as many fruits and vegetables that I should eat because I really love fruits and vegetables. But however, the processed foods and eating more than uh, pushing back from the table when I got full. Eating that big second piece of pound cake, or that 100-year-old pound cake recipe that my grandma
Oh.
then my wife took and also modified, and getting a second piece with ice cream. So I knew that hey, I need to change my habits, and so that's what I did. Starting eating more fruits and vegetables and exercising.
Mm. Now I know all too well about the pound cake recipes. My mother was a baker, so I just practically grew up in the kitchen in front of the oven. So for you to have to, like, after a certain amount of years of doing all these wonderful things and licking the plate, right? You turn around and now you have to like push back from the table. Um, Stacy, I don't know if you've started think about 'cause no, like
No.
a couple years ago I woke up and I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I'm about to touch 30. Like when you head there, it's like, oh my god, we're like, we're about to turn 30, we're about to turn 40. That seems like nothing to our parents, right? But
Right.
you start thinking about it, you're
However,
like, oh my gosh. So, I know one of the things that I did was start an alkaline diet. So I removed all of the flours out of my diet. I don't know how much glucose I took. I love my ice cream, okay? But in moderation, everything in moderation. And
Yes.
I see that you guys also said that one of the things to do, actually, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you start implementing these things slowly in your 30s and your 40s, by the time you turn 50, it'll be a habit.
correct.
And what are some of the things that people can do to actually begin that process? And like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be. You don't have to necessarily be in your 50s in
Right.
order to start this.
I definitely have been blessed to be around someone who is. I have not in the past taken the same eating habits as he has. Even if I see him eating all the fruits and vegetables, I want my soda. I want all of the things that taste so great to me. However, I know that in the long run, that is not healthy for my diet, my lifestyle, and longevity. So I definitely have had to cut back on the things that I love. Um, Not completely taking it away, but again, like you said, in moderation. My downfall was soda, and that is my crutch. I didn't grab the cake because I got my sweets from this. However, I realized that the amount of sugar and sodium that you find in daily sodas just ruins your body. So one of the things that my dad helped me to understand is that you need to introduce healthy fats, healthy proteins, all of those things that will help your lifestyle, such as your salmon instead of your red meat, instead of grabbing a hamburger. It's great to have fish. Um, Making sure that you grab a couple of almonds or walnuts, so that those things help your cholesterol. Um, Cutting out coffee if you're a coffee drinker, because the extra caffeine is definitely not needed in your diet. And make sure that you incorporate your fruits, not just the fruits that are sugary, because a lot of times we go toward bananas or your grapes or things of that nature. When you really look at the amount of sugar that are in those types of fruits, you're actually hurting your diet, as opposed
Sugar in the
to
banana?
picking up your pineapples and your kiwi and your apples and things of that nature. So they're actually a list of fruit that hinder you if you eat too much of it. It's just like eating a pound cake. If you've eaten 3 bananas for the day, you think that you've eaten well, but you just loaded your body with sugar. So you just have to be very conscious of what you place in your body. Be very conscious of making sure that you eat three every 3 to 4 instead of binging on one large meal a day, which is something that I'm very busy. Instead of stopping to eat small meals, I'll just eat at the end of the day, which turns most of that food into fat. Again, that's something that as I watched him eat and realized that was not his style, you could definitely see the difference in the health between the two of us. And interestingly enough, I had to do a physical recently, and they asked you to put your um, family history, such as cancer or things of that nature, and you put down what your parents and so on. So it came down to dad, and I couldn't check anything off the boxes. So the doctor said, "So your dad has none of these issues, family issues." I said, "Nope, he doesn't, and he works out every day and he eats well. So I can't check one box for him." So it's definitely something that you can prevent a lot of the health issues that we have, if you make the right choices.
Now, you did say that were addicted to sodas, and you
I
need to be
was, I
oh,
am. It's
was.
process.
You're in the process.
Yes.
But you need to stay away from those because
I know.
sodas actually put you at high risk for stroke, especially if you have at least a minimum of one a day. So really, stay hydrated, drink water.
Fine.
Also,
Right.
you said coffee. One of the things that I've learned from travel and also just from experience, tea or hot water. Not necessarily tea, but hot water. And even tea with the mints, the leaves.
Mhm. Mhm.
Just using fresh leaves and creating the tea and very little sugar or maybe honey. And usually brown sugar, not white sugar. That's not good for you. Right?
Right.
You drink that on a daily basis. It actually helps. It actually helps your immune system, your digestive system.
Mhm.
So the hot water is good for you, and also drinking water at room temperature. Room temperature
Mhm.
because if you drink cold water, it freezes
Kind of
all of the
broken.
fat in your stomach, and you have like these little balls. And you wonder why you have pockets of fat just sitting there. You can just poke it and like play ball inside your stomach with. So those are some
Right.
things. Those are some things that you can really adjust. Just based off of the things that you just gave. Those are
Mhm.
some things. Those are reasons why you would want to stop. Organic juices instead of alcohol or soda. Now, a
Mhm.
lot of people. I'm from the Caribbean. And we get up at 10 o'clock in the morning, and if you haven't had a drink, you're not authentically Caribbean. And that, but that's not good for you because alcohol actually puts on weight.
Yeah,
It turns
empty
into sugar and
calories.
it puts on weight. So you want to be, you want to stay clear of those things. And plus, it eats away at your liver. Now, for those
Most
that used
definitely.
to have, for those of you that used to eat fried food or eat fried food, there are other ways for you to prepare your dishes. Jim, can you share some ways that you actually prepare your dishes in comparison to what you used to do?
Well, I was not always a fried food. Didn't do a lot of frying. All of the years that I've been married, some 30 plus years. We bake a lot, and we also grill a lot. Started eating more fish, incorporated more fish into my diet when I made a conscious effort to become more healthy. And I got away from a lot of the red meat, as Stacy said. I used to eat, I'm not a big steak, but I ate a lot of steak, ate a lot of, the pork, the ribs, the bacon, etc. But I cut back tremendously on those, on the pork and the beef, and incorporated more fish
Incorporated more fish.
and
Now,
baked fish, as a matter of fact.
baked fish,
Right.
baked
Baking the
fish.
fish.
Now, another thing,
Yes.
a lot of
Right.
people
Not the
don't
fried
realize
fish, but the baked fish.
the baked fish. A lot of people don't
Mhm.
realize that by sauteing onions and different herbs, you can actually reduce the amount of seasoning that you put on the food and use the natural herbs and the natural herbs that come from those things like the onions, the garlics, and so forth, as opposed to loading your food down with salt and peppers. We actually have vegetables and fruits that can do the same thing, and they taste a whole lot better. In addition,
You're absolutely correct.
you want to make sure that you're eating leafy greens. And
Mhm.
before I mentioned, I changed to an alkaline diet. It's been approximately a year and a half, and I've dropped a lot of weight just off of eating alkaline diet and making sure that I'm drinking a lot more water, drinking and reducing my acid intake. Leafy greens, kale, arugula,
Mhm.
spinach, what else? Just really leafy green vegetables, broccoli and fruits and stuff like that. Also, you want to eat foods that are high in fiber. You want to, you hear your mother tell you, like, eat prunes, it helps you stay regular. And you're like, I'm like 5. Why are you telling me this? You know?
Or beans, lots of beans.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So you want,
Right.
but you do want to,
The beans are good for you.
Mhm.
the beans are good for you. Yeah,
Source
I
of
heard that a
protein.
long
Right.
time. Yeah,
Yes.
so
Good source of protein.
if you cut out a lot of the other stuff, if you're not eating as much meat, then you want to make sure that you're substituting that with beans. Right?
Correct.
10
Right. And you
healthy
said
foods.
something. You said
Go
something that
ahead.
was. You said something that was very important about the way that you season your food as you are preparing it. Uh, Less salt, taking the salt and pepper shakers off of the table. We did that years ago because people have the tendency, when you go to a restaurant, what's the first thing you notice? People will grab the salt
For
and,
no reason. They
and
haven't
they
even
salt the
tasted food
food
yet.
even before they taste it. Well, no, haven't even tasted the food. So we even have salt shakers and pepper shakers on the table anymore. But you're absolutely right about the herbs and spices. My cooking style is incorporate all of those herbs and spices that are good for you, and that's what I use, and it makes the food taste so much better.
Doesn't it? Oh my
So I
God.
agree with you on
And the
that.
one thing I do notice is that if I go somewhere else and I eat, and the food is cooked with a lot of salt, you instantly taste it because your taste buds are not used to that much sodium. So that's definitely one thing I always notice. That food is completely covered with salt because
Now,
you don't taste it, and he definitely doesn't cook with it.
now we've talked about food. That's the easy part, okay? Everybody knows that they have to eat. Well, that's like the duh. I know I'm not supposed to eat this, but that's the easy part of staying healthy and fit over 50. We all know that we're doing things that we shouldn't, right? But what about
This,
the training? What about the exercise? Like people say, oh well, I'm 50, I have bad knees, I have bad this, oh I have arthritis, they have all these ailments, right? And there's always an excuse. It doesn't matter how old you are, there's always an excuse why you can't. But we're here to tell you that you as a person over 50 can do the same thing that a person 20 can do. Why all you have to do is do it slower and reduce the repetition, right? But you can still stay healthy
that
and
is
active.
correct.
And
Right.
again,
It
it's
takes 15 or
we
20
have to
minutes a day.
exactly. So we're going to talk a little bit about health exercises and activities. Stacey, would you like to jump in here, especially for people that have arthritis and are restoring balance and weight loss and maintenance and stuff like that? Talk a little bit about some of the strength training and how you can deal with that.
Definitely, if you have issues with arthritis or things of that nature, you want to do exercises that will help you lose weight, but also ensure that you restore your balance, strengthen your bones, make sure that you are sleeping better, etc. And some of those exercises, walking, a lot of times we think that, oh, in order to be the best shape of your life, you need to be running marathons, triathlons, and things of that nature. However, studies have shown that just by walking every single day, you improve your health. There are a lot of fitness classes for people 50 and over. A lot of times you tend to do better in a group. Others are around to push you and encourage you, and you want to have that camaraderie, and it's something that you can look forward to every day or every other day when you're working. A lot of times people shy away from the water, but water aerobics and things of that nature are definitely fun. You sometimes don't feel as if you exercised, but you definitely lifted your heart rate and done the cardio necessary. Yoga is something that also a lot of people over 50 enjoy as well. It allows you to um, strengthen your body as well as meditate and center. A lot of times we only think of exercise as something that run, you're lifting your heart rate by moving quickly, but sometimes the slow movements in yoga also have the same benefit. We also don't want to forget that you need to use weights as well, and it helps you to keep your your muscles strong, especially if you're having issues. It's not something where you just want to completely do cardio every single day. You want to ensure that you're strengthening your muscles, and free weights specifically, can definitely help with that. Remember that exercise is to help you lose or maintain your weight. You don't just exercise so that you can just drop a lot of pounds and then you end exercising. It's something that you constantly do in order to remain healthy.
So exercise, because you said something that was very important. You said exercise is for you to both lose and maintain your weight.
Correct.
So there are people that exercise and they're like, I'm not losing any weight, or I don't need to lose any weight. No. Well, if you want to stay at a nice fit size, you have to keep this going, because once you stop, it comes all back, right? And you're like, oh my
Correct.
God, I look like a pig. So,
Correct.
Jim, tell us tell us a little bit about what you do to stay healthy and fit? I mean, you're a lean, slim guy. What are some of the exercises that you do?
Walking is one of the basic exercises that I do. However, I have a routine. Uh, Exercise 3 times a week. I have an elliptical that I do 30 minutes each time, and I have a routine with my free weights as well as my medicine ball, and then I have some equipment in my home gym. Don't have a gym membership. I've invested in equipment for my home, and so it's easy for me to when I'm in that mentality to go and exercise is to just go right there. And so I have a piece of equipment that I can do uh, every from my lower extremities to my upper extent. So that's what I've done. I incorporated all of that when I made that conscious effort 15 years ago to do a lifestyle change
To do a
and made an
lifestyle change.
investment, which is not very much, but made an investment.
So you made an investment in yourself. One of my favorite things to do
Yes.
actually is the yoga, and I also love the sauna. Like I go to the gym every other day and I do my vigorous
Mhm.
workout, 15 minutes on the elliptical, 15 minutes on the stairmaster, and 15 minutes on the treadmill. Then I go and
Mhm.
sit in the sauna and I'm like, oh my God, I love this. It's like I think the sauna is like
It's
the
good.
best part
I
of the
love the
workout,
sauna
right?
too. Yes.
Do you have that
Yes,
at
it
home?
is. It is. It's very good. No, I don't have a sauna yet, but I plan to get one.
Yeah, like that's like the best part of the
Yes, but I
workout.
agree with you. The saunas are awesome. Yeah, they're awesome.
Okay. So
So that's my routine, and and when you fall off the wagon, you have to hit yourself upside the head to get back on because you've done all this work and you've gotten your your body where you would like to have it, but you have to remember the eating habits and just eating healthy, and then of course incorporating the exercise. You have to do both. You just can't do one or the other.
now there are some things that we like Stacy stated that you should do that can help you. As simple as walking the dog. If you have a pet, take your dog for a walk. Like you said, sometimes you need companionship to help you exercise.
Right.
Your dog needs
Correct.
to exercise, and so do you. So do two at once. Community activities keep the mind active, such as book clubs, gallery walks, museums, libraries, dancing, knitting, and crocheting. Those are some of the things that you can actually do. And while people think that that's not really exercise, yes, it's exercise for your mind, and it stimulates you. Right? You want to make sure
Correct.
that
It
you're doing things like that. In
right. It
addition,
does.
now, I have a question for you, and I know this isn't on here, but I've been seeing a lot of articles about sex over 50.
I need to leave the room.
That's
Why?
it's
Because you're
Why?
not 50.
whatever, whatever.
Yes.
We're gonna
Sex
end
over
with that.
50.
Wait, hold on, Jim. We're gonna end with that. We're
Yes.
gonna
Sex.
end with that. We're gonna end with that, okay? So
All right.
let's talk
Absolutely.
about
Love to talk about that.
let's let's talk about all of the things that you should do as a person over 50. Give me a checklist of the things that you should do, and you should add to your daily regimen.
So you want me to answer
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
you're over 50.
Uh,
Seeing that you're
I do. Here's my checklist. Uh,
your checklist.
my checklist is to make sure that I get adequate amount of sleep, anywhere from 6.5 to 7 hours each night. Making sure that my bedtime is when I go to bed, my routine is the same. That I am not uh, eating snacks that are going to keep me up, or drinking anything that's going to keep me up, or force me to get up to go to the bathroom at night, etc. You want to get a good night's sleep. So that's the beginning of my next day. Then, of course, you get up at your regular time. You want to make sure that your routine is what you like to do in the morning, whether or not it is logging on to see what's going on into what's happening in the world, or whether or not with your all of this that you might have, you want to click on the news real quick. People don't get newspapers anymore, so you are checking out what's happening in the world. That's my routine. Then I want to understand, all right, what am I going to have for breakfast? So I prepare my meal. Then I'm ready for my other activities, going into the office. Then I'm going to get my exercise in for the day. Have that incorporated into my day also. And then you're having your light meals during the day. Sure that you have breakfast. It's very important, as I said. Then you're going to have a light lunch, and then of course you're going to have couple of snacks in between. Then when you have your dinner is at the same time in the evening from 5 to 6, so that you have completed your day, you've completed your meals, and you're not infringing upon your body those different things that you might incorporate. Even when you are out of town, or when you are in meetings, etc., to remember these are the things that I need to do, so that things are your body is not going to be misled to thinking that it should be doing something else. So that's basically my day, the way
So,
that I like to incorporate.
so pretty much you've trained your body to kind of go along with your daily routine. And as time progresses, your body knows that it's time to eat, it's time to sleep, it's time to do this or that, whatever activity that you're always doing, right?
That is correct. That's my
Now,
routine.
Stacy,
Yes.
one of the big things about health, right? The thing that people think about health, and they think that it's only exercise and it's only eating well. But a big part of health is your sexual appetite. You ever met a person and you were like, oh, that person needs to get laid? Well, I imagine. Why is your face red? Don't you put out the social media for GSB? I saw you put out articles on this.
I don't know why I'm turning bright red. Okay, I'm gonna compose myself because I actually have these conversations with my students, and I am just okay, I'm ready.
I can understand how the situation might be uncomfortable. However, as a part of health, one of the
Yes,
things that we have to think about is health is your sexual appetite. And
correct.
as you start getting older, I just read an article in Huffington Post. A woman who had been with her husband for over 30 years. One morning she undressed and he said, "You disgust me. Your body is aging." And he was 58 and she was close to 60. And she took a look at herself and saw her sagging skin and was like, "Oh my." But she realized that her better days had passed her. My thing is, as you know, in my age demographic, in our age demographic, how do you prepare yourself for that reality? And I'm going to start with that and then go on to Jim so he can tell us about some of the things that he's done to kind of keep the flame going. And, you know, also, I've heard that once you get married, like, you stop doing it. So I'm like, okay, well, then you're 50 and you're sitting in the room together every day, like, you have to do it, or like, why are you there?
Um, in, in terms of preparing yourself for the quote unquote um, moment where your husband is going to look at you and want a younger woman or feel that you've let yourself go, I don't know how you can necessarily completely prepare yourself for that, because I know that there are a lot of couples who grow old together and they love each other almost as if they fall in love again and again at each different stage. Um, so it would take having a conversation with your husband as to, what don't you like, what can we do to change that. But in terms of preparing for that now,
Well,
um,
mentally, you have to prepare for it mentally. At some point, you
ment-
have to wake up in the morning and look in the mirror. Like, I woke up the other day, looked in the mirror, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not that person anymore.
right, right, and I think that reality happens to all of us at some point. You don't look like you did when you were 18 or when you were 20. Your body is going to
Or
change.
last week.
But, or last week. But I also think that a lot of it comes with confidence in loving who and understanding that who you are in your body is not going to be necessarily who the next person is that we see on the glossy magazines or on television or things of that nature. And a lot of times, men are attracted to you based upon your self confidence and your self love and loving who you are. And when you exude that, that's what they see a lot of times over maybe the imperfections that you see in the mirror. So I'm always been that kind of lady that is extremely self confident and exude that. And so a lot of times men on that, even if I feel as if there are some imperfections, um, they're there. However, I feel as if they focus more so on the things that I truly love about myself, and those are the things that they completely love as well.
Okay, so really, it's a mental thing. Like, mentally, you have to be confident enough to accept
Yes.
that you're going to change, that you're not going to be the same, that if you were to stay the same, then it would be monotonous, and that
Correct.
this change is growth in this life.
Right,
At the
and
end
it's
of the
life,
day,
and
it's
you
life.
have to love every single stage of it.
Embrace it. Okay, so now, Jim, are you embracing the change, and how often are you embracing the change?
Am
So
I
let's go.
embracing the change for sex
Are,
over
are,
50? Is your
yes, that's over.
question?
Yes, the
Well,
sexual lifestyle, and
let's
how does
talk.
that appetite?
Let me just give you a synopsis of marriage. Marriage is something that you work on every day, and sex is a part of marriage. That's the fun part of marriage. Now, your partner, your sexual partner, your wife, your spouse, your husband, whatever, uh, that person has to also want to engage in the sexual aspect of marriage. Of and it's something that you will work on, not just day one, not just on your wedding night, but you have to. What I've found is that you have to continue to be that romantic, doing things that are out of the ordinary in order to make things exciting, because that's what you did when you were dating. So, and that's what a lot of couples do. They think that is automatic, or, well, hey, is this time for, me to take care of, my wife, or it's time for the wife to take care of the man? Well, it's not like that. It's an intimate uh, relationship that continues each day. And you have to be creative about it. You have to have date nights. I hear couples talk about they have date nights, and especially when young kids are around. When Stacey and Brian was around, we would kick them out. We would send them to their grandparents or to their uncles and aunts. And guess what? Hey, we had fun. We had to run in the middle of the house. And so, you have to be creative. And at 50 plus, I'm going to tell you that yes, I still enjoy my wife in our relationships, and so it's mutual. So you have to in order to keep the flame going.
Okay. Now, from a health perspective, how important is it for you to to be engaged in sexual relationships? Like, I really don't know that.
Everything that I've read, yeah, everything that I've read about your sexual life is important. From a health standpoint, to have sexual intercourse. That's everything that I've read. So, uh, the doctor always asks me the question, "How's your sex life?" So that's one of the questions that he asks. So if you have a good doctor, he's concerned about whether you are still able to perform, and that's a good thing when I can say yes, I'm having a great sex life.
Your daughter is mortified, so we're
From a medical standpoint, yeah, from a medical standpoint, I can't tell you. My wife can answer that because in the medical field. But from a medical standpoint, all I know is what my doctor asks.
What the doctor asked, and the doctor said at least twice a day, right?
I can't. I really can't do this. I'm leaving
Twice
the room.
a day?
I'm not listening anymore. Moving on.
Well, we're about to wrap. I want to thank you guys.
But sex is important for 50 plus individuals. And believe it or not, things that I've read about people in their 70s and 80s, even some people in their 90s, they have an active sexual life. Yes, they do.
From what I understand, like I have aunties that are well above the age, and they are getting it like often, and they're
Yes, they
cougars,
are.
like 30 year
Now,
old.
with that being said, we have to make sure that we are safe. If we're
Oh, of
one
course,
thing
like
that we have to ensure.
we're not promoting.
A lot of times, because
sexual
the population of older individuals who are because they don't necessarily think about that. A lot of times, as younger individuals, that's first thing that we think about. We don't want those kind of issues. But a lot of the articles that I've read in my research is that the elder population who are engaging in sexual activity, they have to ensure that they are safe because some of those numbers are high because necessarily thinking about the safety aspect, the fun aspect.
Exactly.
So
That's correct.
we have to make sure that we're having fun, but we are safe about it.
There is actually an increase. They recently stated that there was an increase in HIV contraction in the elderly population. Actually, people over the age of 60. There are more people over the age of 60 contracting AIDS in the last 3 years than there has ever been, and more so that has to do with the fact that the baby boomers have aged out, and they're finding little.
They're very active sexually. Yes.
So
yes.
you have to.
I read that same article. Yes.
Yeah. So you definitely have to make sure that safety is one of the things that you're paying attention to while having a sexual appetite or a healthy sexual appetite is important. You also have to make sure that you're making allotments for protection, the preventative measures. Yes, you cannot get pregnant, but there's so many other things that can happen. So we need to make sure that we're talking about that, and over the next couple of weeks, you guys are going to see more articles and stories on healthy lifestyles. inclusive of sex lives, but everything that has to do with healthy lifestyles, from the food, the exercise, and as well as the sex, because like that's important. So before we close out, you guys, I want you to wrap, Stacy and then Jim, give your final thoughts on today and your tips for healthy living over the age of 50.
I definitely think that healthy living over the age of 50 is imperative. We need to take steps in order to live longer, and those steps include eating correctly, make sure that we're maintaining a healthy weight, make sure that we're exercising. We are doing everything um, to be healthy and to ensure that we are living an extremely long life. It's definitely baby steps, and it's definitely just putting one foot in front of the other and making the decision that I want to be healthy and to change that life.
Jim, final words.
Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone for hanging out with us today. Uh, Also, remember to visit my website at GSBCare.com, and also check us out on Facebook and Google Plus, as well as Twitter. My final thoughts for a healthy lifestyle is, if you want to start, change your mindset, make sure that you understand what your goals are, and make those small incremental goals. And I'm speaking from a personal aspect of how I started. I started just a small goal, and then of course it was over a 2-year period where I made this transformation, and it was good. And when I got to my goal, my final goal, it was good, and I like what I saw. I like how I felt, and you would just be so amazing the amount of energy that you have at the age of 50 when you make that commitment to change your lifestyle. And it's all about healthy eating, and, and it's all about sizing, and it's all about family and getting everybody else involved and making a difference for all of your family members. So, as a caregiver, when we talk to families, we want to make sure that our certified nurses assistants, CNAs, are working with our clients to make sure that they are also cooking the healthy meals for them, and making sure that they're doing the exercises that they need to do while they stay in their homes. And again, thank you for joining us today.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been GSB Care Interactive. My name is Africa Allah, and don't forget to visit gsbcare.com. We'll see you again real soon.